164 out of 330. Sam Soliman 108 out of 728. Soliman is averaging 104 punches thrown per round. He told us the story of going to Fiji with a group of fighters, which included a heavyweight. They went out for a boat ride. During the boat ride, all of the fighters slipped into the water to swim, except the heavyweight who didn't want to, and suddenly his buddies tossed him off the side of the boat, and they learned that the heavyweight couldn't swim. It took quite a while for them to pull the heavyweight back into the boat, but they were doing it on the other side of the boat from where Soliman was swimming himself. So when he came back into the boat, he had no idea what had gone on with the heavyweight, and cut up that he is, he tossed his heavyweight buddy right back into the water.
Well, he's, you know, he does have, you know, the guts of a burglar to fight the way he's fighting and to be fighting one of the best fighters in the world.
Said even though there were sharks in those waters, it was incumbent on him to get back into the water and stay there for a half hour until the heavyweight cooled down. Winky Wright landing more body punches in this round. As Larry Merchant has pointed out a couple times, easier to find the rib cage than the head. Soliman looks up into the rafters as though to examine the crowd and suddenly throws a flurry of 7 or 8 punches.
Now, whatever else you can say about this fight, it's the most action-packed fight we've seen right in for a long time.
It's the most I've ever saw him in.
People may want to see him fight Sam again.
and actually, Winky is having to work tonight. This is the most I've ever saw him work.
Well, I mean, I'll agree with you. In terms of style and the effort that Wright is having to put out, Trinidad was a walk in the park compared to this.
Oh, yeah, Trinidad was an easy fight for him. He knew what Trinidad was going to do. He doesn't have any idea what this guy's going to do.
Soliman lands 2 hard right hands. Most guys struggle to land 1 solid punch around against Winky. Roundhouse right lands inside for Soliman as well. Winky's painting him with body punches during this, but that doesn't seem to slow the Aussie down.
You know what? When Winky goes home to St. Pete, he's going to look like he's been in a fight. Both his eyes are puffed up.
And if this guy weighed as much as Winky weighed, came in the ring about 170 pounds, we would really have a fight on our hands.
Well, of course, if he'd come into the ring weighing 170, he wouldn't be able to throw 107 punches per round either.
All right. I gave that round to Sam Soliman.
So did I. This time you got me convinced. This Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, don't miss Dare to Dream, the story of the United States women's soccer team. Relive the accomplishments of that unforgettable group, which captured the nation's heart and became heroes to a generation of young women on their way to winning the 1999 Women's World Cup. Of course, as a University of North Carolina grad, when I think of that team, I say, go Tar Heels.
Take a rinse, Wink.
Go ahead. The hook. Okay, he drops his hands, he's catching that rip, you'll get him with that hook. Okay, now I want you to do a bit more often, and you've got to pick the work right up. Round 9 coming up. Okay, you've got 3 more rounds, mate. This is round 9. 3 more rounds. You've got to outwork.
Well, he had good advice. His arithmetic wasn't too good. There are 4 more rounds if it goes the distance.
Power punches in 8. Winky Wright 23 out of 44. Sam Soliman 20 out of 88. And together, Larry and I convinced Harold to give that round to Soliman too. No, he had it done on his own. Just kidding. There's no way we influence Harold.
The referee just warned Soliman for a button. I think it's about the 2nd or 3rd time he's butted Winky Wright.
That's just a southpaw conventional fighter thing. I don't think there's anything deliberate, calculated, no, or otherwise.
The referee, Richard Flaherty, is famous here in Connecticut as the guy who aided Mickey Ward's victory over Arturo Gatti in the first Ward-Gatti fight and prevented what a lot of people thought was the logical result, a draw, by scoring the 9th round 10-7 for Ward. A round in which Gatti rallied strongly and had big moments toward the end. That's one small moment.
You know, I believe that Soliman's been more competitive in the last few rounds.
Yeah, I'm very surprised at him. I thought he would be stopped by then, but he's evidently used to doing this. The fact that he's never been knocked out, and he's been in with some big punches, I guess. But to operate and to compete on this class that he's doing tonight, it's amazing.
Winky is almost feeling he has to brawl with this guy. It's like he's almost abandoned his tight style.
Winky seems a little insecure about the number of times that Soliman's been able to get to him. Now Winky hits him hard to the body and a big shot upstairs with the hook. Soliman just keeps coming. He has amazing stamina.
In fact, all you do is just ignite him when he gets landed to go in with a punch. And he explodes right back. No power, but he's throwing punches back.
He may be tired because he's just standing right in front of Winky now. We've seen a lot of Aussie fighters in the last few years. They're very tough, very determined, but somehow they fall a little short in the technique department. But
Good work. Good pressure, Link. Good pressure, Link.
That's all right.
Good pressure,
Man,
Link.
that's enough to earn it, champ. Let's keep doing
Relax.
what we do.
Relax.
Let's keep doing what we do.
That was a perfect
Man, that's
round,
enough
just
to
like
earn
that.
it.
Perfect round.
You're looking beautiful.
You're hurting his ass to the body.
Some of them get
3
like...
rounds to go. 10, 11, 12. 3 rounds to go. Now, mate, you can do this. Punches in bunches. Left jab. Okay, stop coming back to centre. And stop this ducking and weaving. He lags on you. Okay, he only's got to land 3 or 4. This is the crowd. They're all pro him, even though you're out pointing. Now, we don't want to give him that opportunity, okay?
there is a right. Lands flush. But Winky is not a power puncher.
Average punches per round through the 9th. Wright 24 out of 50. Soliman 15 out of 104. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
You know, Jim, I'd like to know what kind of vitamins this guy takes. Amazing. 88, 83, 7 rounds to 2. Ronald Winky Wright. Jim,
Okay.
I got to agree with you on that 6th round, the 8th round rather. I thought Soliman won it, so I had him winning the 2nd and the 8th. But other than that, I thought Winky Wright's just doing too much damage. To tell you the truth, that 11-pound weight gain just probably giving him more power. But he definitely looks pained. He's definitely working hard. And Soliman just throwing punches like mad. Problem is, Winky's doing more damage.
Harold, it's not the vitamins, it's the Vegemite. Check it out sometime.
Talk to us about Vegemite, Jim.
If you eat it, you can't talk about it. It's a little like eating salt, but not quite as good.
It's an Australian thing, right?
Very much, and they love it.
You know, speaking of Australian fighters, you know, I guess the last true Australian fighter was Jeff Fittick, and he was a very tough character, too. We speak of Costa Tszyu as Australian, don't forget he really came from Russia, from the Russian
Soviet Georgia,
Soviet,
actually.
right. So they have a different technical style of fighting. And Robbie Peden did most of all of his career fighting and training in the United States here. But Jeff Fittick was a true Australian, and there's some tough characters.
Yep.
Wright standing in and bashing Soliman away from him.
But Tszyu became a favorite in Australia. You know, he drew over 30,000 fans there for a fight.
Hey, guys, let him out, guys. Don't hit.
He was one of the 10 best
So he
pound
was
for
one,
pound
but
fighters in the world, but they had him.
But I'm saying for style, the style was not better than Australian.
A left hand, I believe, hurt Soliman.
Right hook. Really hard right hook. Flush on Solomon's jaw, but the Aussie just stands in and keeps fighting. Winky may have him now. That was a brutal left hand. Catching him on the rebound again as he comes off the rope. Soliman keeps throwing.
Can Soliman make it out of this round?
I'm betting yes. 44 seconds to go. He's still standing. He's still throwing.
And at this stage, you got to worry about Winky tapping and take a break because he may be a little fatigued himself now.
Yeah, Winky made an effort there for a minute.
A good effort. Winky's looking for that working clean shot.
Now he's trying to gather himself a little bit.
Yeah, he's tired himself now.
Not throwing. The right hook is what's been landing.
Look at this guy.
He's unreal. And he lands a straight right hand on the chops of Winky Wright. No power.
And it's winning the last 30 seconds of this round.
The crowd is standing. They were expecting a definitive outcome. Good round.
Sorry, get the towel. Get in the towel. Sit down. Sit down. Hey, you know what happened then? The rope, the dope shit. Okay? It's not on, Sam. It's not on. You stop and you slow and you start ducking and weaving. Your hands are down around your tummy. What a great effort. You come back beautifully. Don't lean up against the ropes and hold your hands down like this. And swell right there. Come on. Let's tall now.
He's dead tired, man. Relax.
Keep working like you
Take a swallow.
Winky really wants to get rid of this guy. And that was the left hand that almost did it. But somehow Soliman survives. Took some punishment on the ropes.
Time! Blink, over there.
A doctor examining
Okay?
Sam
Okay.
Soliman
All right, time
gives
in.
his okay for the fight to go on.
So it means that as soon as Soliman gets hurt, if he does, the referee's going to make a quick decision to stop the fight probably now. Because he was in the corner through the duration of the whole round.
He's actually
Between the rounds.
he's actually less marked up than Winky.
You give Soliman a minute's rest, he can fight for 3 more months. Some of the marks on Winky Wright could be from headbutts here and there, but Soliman has landed some punches, that's for sure.
You know, Solomon's landing a lot of blows in the fight, in addition to using his head.
Well, like I say, Winky Wright's much more susceptible to the roundhouse punch. You try to throw something straight up the middle, the way a great fighter would, that guard is right there. Although that time Soliman sneaked it through the middle of the guard with a straight right hand. Wright is still conserving energy, just as he was at the end of the last round.
And hoping to find one punch again and not doing much.
But using his arms as that steel cage to block Solomon's punches and waiting for Soliman to stop throwing.
Wink is not used to throwing these many punches himself.
Certainly isn't. Straight left hand for Wright, lands flush. I've never seen a fighter who's so willing to bounce off the ropes back toward his opponent. They trade roundhouse shots in the center of the ring.
This guy's the epitome of just internal strength. Because he's been exhausted from the first 2 rounds, but he just inside, he's such a tough guy. He just will not give up. His body is gone, but it's just his mind and determination is still there.
I got it. Don't hit.
And if he goes back to Australia with a loss, he has one signaled consolation.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's going to have a lot of respect from people here. And in fact, this is really kind of diminishes the image of Winky.
Because
Because it's the first time that he's actually fighting almost just like a normal guy trying to win a decision or to score a knockout. and not being able to operate in that comfort zone that he's always operated on.
Which he has complete control.
Yes, and that's even with the top fighters.
Which shows how styles can make fights, just as Bernard Hopkins could make Taylor look bad and amateurish.